It is October 19th, 2023, and I'm having trouble getting started talking today. I haven't really spoken out loud for a few days about anything of any consequence or significance to any other living person. I've just mostly just been up here with my internal monologue that never stops. It just, wow. And I didn't even realize that was a thing, that people think differently. Some people don't have internal monologues. I don't even know what that's about. Like what that, how they, I don't know what that means. I guess there's examples and things I could look it up. And I remember just hearing about that, and I was like, how do they conceive of thoughts, and how does the world make sense to them? And I don't know. But for me, it's just a non-stop conversation, or monologue, I guess, yeah. And I sometimes debate things back and forth, and it's just it just keeps going. And then when I talk, I'm usually just giving it voice and seeing how things sound out loud. So anyway, it is raining today, and I am planning on going for a run because it's been a few days, and the weather seems like it'll be warm enough. It'll be cold, or chilly at least, but I don't feel like getting drenched and having to deal with being chilled to the bone. So I'll wait till it's finished, which will be like another hour or two, I imagine. But anyway, before then, I thought I'd record a video because it's been a while, and I did have a story to tell. I always have more than one, but this one was something a little bit more different than usual. I guess it happened last Saturday. So, what, 4 days ago? 5 days ago. And I was at one of the meetings that I go to. And the meeting was fine. Social interaction was fine. Talking was fine. Company was fine. The usual suspects. And I was leaving, and I was, just by myself, and I was going back down the stairs to exit and then come on back here. And I was getting to the bottom of the stairs, and I just noticed, there was like a spatter on the carpet at the bottom of the stairs. I was like, it looks like blood. That is blood. And there was like glasses that were like kind of crumpled a little bit and looked like might have been broken, and at the bottom of the stairs too. And it's like, whoa, somebody fell down the stairs. And because I hadn't heard anything, I was like, when did this happen? Was that there when I came in? It was like an hour before. And I was like, but there was no evidence of any person. There was nothing around, just this blood spatter pattern on the carpet and these broken glasses. And I was like, there was no one else around. And so I started to go back upstairs, and I was like, I should take a picture before, just to record it. And so I was about to. And then the guy upstairs, he was closing up, he turned off the lights. And I was like, well, there goes my picture. But then other people started approaching, and I heard a door open, and then I started finding out information. And what had happened was one of the other attendees at the meeting had fallen down the stairs just a minute before, and they had taken her outside. I just wasn't aware of it and hadn't heard anything. And so the situation was going. It was now and changing. And I don't know the person very well. I've seen her a few times, and I know a little bit of what's going on for her. Um, but yeah, she had fallen down the stairs, and these are like unforgiving stairs, like very hard, like concrete with a thin carpet, um, you know, thin carpeting, and no cushion. And she must have fallen, and she hit her head, like somewhere around, and she, got a deep gash, and that's where all that blood came from. And it wasn't like a pool, but there was a lot of drops scattered about, and and she had been taken outside by somebody else that was also at the meeting, out to her car because she had wanted to leave, but then the other person was like, "No, you shouldn't drive," and so they kept her from driving away, and then she was just kind of in a state of shock, and there was some sort of debate about calling for help because she was like talking about wanting to drive herself or being driven to the hospital because it looked like she might need stitches, and I didn't see it myself, but I could tell that it, and I didn't really want to see. But anyway, she was kept and prevented from driving away, and an ambulance or 911 was called, and the fire engine showed up first with first responders, and they took a look at her and asked her some questions. And we don't know much about her because it is anonymous, and so they just figured out that we don't know anything. But then they just asked her questions, what answers she could give, and she was just kind of at a very rattled state of mind. And anyway, and then an ambulance did show up, and they continued to question her a little bit, and then they took her away, and the whole thing took like 15 minutes, and it was, and I guess there's only like 5 of us that had stayed behind after the meeting officially ended, and then we were just out in the parking lot, just kind of supporting, and just being available for whatever assistance might need to be required. And so after the ambulance took her away, it was decided that we knew where they were going to take her. So, and then it was a matter of what to do with her vehicle. And so she would, we weren't sure if she would be there overnight or it would just be a few hours. So we just let her know that we would take care of her vehicle and bring it to the hospital for her, which was only like a couple miles away. So I was standing there with 2 of the remaining people, and I was like, "What do you need me to do?" Because I don't live that far away, so I didn't drive. I just walk. And but I was there and I was available, and if I can be of any assistance, but I need to be told. So based on the situation, it ended up that one of the people there was going to drive somebody else home, then come back, and then I would drive the left behind vehicle, her vehicle, with the person that fell, and they would drive out to the hospital, and I would follow them in this other vehicle, and then we would get there, and then turn in the person's keys, say who they were for, and then leave their vehicle, and then this other person would drive me home. And so that's what we did. And first I had to figure out how to turn or start the, I know how to drive my car. I don't know how to drive every car. So I had to it was actually, it still had a key. It was an older car, an older car that has a key. It's only been, I've been driving a push to start vehicle for a while now. But this car, or SUV, had a key. So I just, figured that out. And then I had to turn on the wipers, and then how to turn on the headlights. I had to, figure out where those things were. But luckily it wasn't automatic. But I did learn how to drive on a manual transmission, but it would have been difficult to I was already a little bit stressed. But anyway, situation resolved, and I'm looking forward to this coming Saturday when I will see some of the same people again for the first time, and maybe I'll get an update on what happened to that person. Uh, were they okay? What happened? Did they get out that same day? Did they get out to their car and everything was okay? Uh, so, anyway, that was just something that happened, and I haven't recorded anything about it or written anything about it. So this is just me telling myself that it happened, and yeah, and it felt like to me I was in the the right place at the right time to be of some assistance to a person that was in a bad way, and also help out the people that were helping out. So they weren't just kind of a person short of getting things done, because other people, they have families to get back to, and people waiting on them, people expecting them, or it's like I myself had work in a couple hours, and not that I was in any hurry, and it's like squirrel, and anyway. Yes, I got distracted. So, that was something that happened, and we're far into the video now, so like I said, I've been having trouble getting started talking today, and so I'm not sure, because there's been a few takes of me trying to get started, and then I've just deleted them because I didn't like them for whatever reason. But it is a good day to run, and I will be out there after the rain stops. But before then, I did want to talk about my feelings about running in the world, because when I'm out there, I can be seen, and there's other people on the on the road or on the trails or on the paved walkways, people walking their dogs, people just out walking, bicycles, all sorts of things. But anyway, and then feeling like I need to, acknowledge their existence or wave at them or say hi or good morning or, I'm not a threat. Hi, I'm a fellow human. Also out here, exercising or whatever. It's strange sometimes because people have different expectations of interaction, and some people are okay with being ignored, and some people stare directly at you as though they're waiting, and that you're being rude if you don't read their mind and know how to interact with them and greet them or not greet them, and it's like sometimes I just automatically assume and am okay with greeting people, and then some people just ignore you, and I'm like, oh, cool, good, there's a person that doesn't want to be looked at or talked to because they're just in their own world. They might have headphones in or sunglasses on, and they don't want to be bothered, and I get that. But then there are a lot of other people that they are out and they want to be seen being out. They're out in a public space and they want to have people see them in that public space and interact with other people. It's part of their, social space. Whereas me, I kind of like my privacy to be left alone. Unless I'm in a social mood, and I want to be seen or interact with people. But it's not very often. When I'm out running, I feel less social because, I feel vulnerable. I'm tired. I might be in pain. I probably don't look my best. I'm probably quite disheveled, and I'm kind of tired, and I might be hungry or dehydrated, and I don't feel good, or you know, towards the end of my run, I can get kind of what's the word? I guess just upset for my physical condition, which I've put myself in, where I am out there. I'm not the picture. I'm not the picture on the front of the magazine of running or Runner's World, where the runners are just smiling and they look so energetic and happy about their running and their situation. No, I'm just kind of I'm I'm in the I'm in the trenches. Um, I'm trudging. I'm trudging through sometimes, but I'm not always very happy about my situation. I don't know what it looks like. I don't see myself. I just am in my own zone, but which I get distracted by other people and interrupted by just other people seeing me, and that includes cars and vehicles and people mowing their lawn or walking their dogs, and it changes my perception of the world um, by my awareness of other people around me seeing me, that I am visible and that people are potentially watching me as I run. And it kind of throws me off because I start to think about that and I become self-conscious about my running, and I feel better about myself when I feel like, or I forget that I am being seen potentially. But I have to remember that most people just don't care. I like to think, and most people, they're just self-absorbed in their own world, and they just see another person running and they see whatever they see and think whatever they think, which I have no control over, and it doesn't matter and it doesn't affect me, and I'm okay, and I should just not mind, but I do mind, and I'm just I sometimes am just it can be a less than desirable running atmosphere. The more people that I see and how crowded it might be outside. So I take alternate paths and alternate routes to avoid as much traffic as possible. I take the side roads. And if I see gatherings of people, I go a different direction. Some people, they like to be outside to be seen. I am not one of them. So, and so I will run, or not much of what I do is really running. It's probably just different speeds of jogging. Running, I don't know. I guess running's just another word for jogging. I'm not sure. Anyway, I am looking at something to remind me of what I need to talk about, or what I want to talk about. And, running at odd times, too, to also avoid people and cars. So I'll run, right at sunrise or just before sunrise, light enough that I can see, but, early enough that most people aren't even out yet. And I won't have to, you know, deal with seeing that many people and then having to figure out what's the correct greeting to get past them without coming across as, a monster or something. I'm just trying to run. I don't want to be seen and talked to. And if people have dogs, then, it's like, is the dog going to lunge at me, or is the dog going to, bark at me? And is the owner going to, corral the dog and hold it off to the side, and then I have to say thank you? Um, and sometimes I'll just go off path and off trail to give a whole wide berth just to avoid the encounter as much as possible. And maybe that appears strange or not, uh, but if I run early enough and I don't see anybody, then I don't have to feel bad over giving poor uh, interactions or being strange. And then people with their mowing equipment and mowing grass and lawn care at all times, at all seasons, except when there's snow on the ground. Um, I don't like breathing in all the uh, dust and grass that it's like an aerosol that gets kicked up into the air, and people are mowing their leaves in their lawn because they like their lawns to look a certain way, and they judge themselves against what their lawns look like, and are just mowing well into autumn to keep things looking a certain way. And I just don't like it because I don't like breathing in the dust. So I, you know, run around that, and just the noise too, kind of, yeah. I'm not. Everybody has a right to be out there doing what they do, just like I do. But I am very low aspect, low profile in my activities. Like, if you didn't see me, I was never there. I don't have a presence that lasts. So, and the same thing with running towards nighttime. I used to do that more often. Um, and as it gets colder, it's like I will wait for it to get warmer out, and so I will be jogging more towards dusk myself, during the warmer parts of the day for the same reason. But by dusk, unlike early morning hours, there's no guarantee that people are, more people will be out at dusk, walking their dogs, and there will be more traffic, people getting home from work or driving home from work. And with vehicles, I don't see people in vehicles driving, and I definitely don't look at people in their cars. I don't want to know if they're looking at me. I don't want to see them staring at me. I don't want to see them waving at me or anything like that. I just keep my eyes to myself and focus on the path ahead of me and where I am in relation to traffic, and making sure that situational awareness and where I am, and make sure that they have enough room. And people still, even when there's plenty of room, they still move over into, for them, what is oncoming traffic to give me more space. And I'm like, if you just kept going straight and stayed in your lane, we'd be fine. But people still, they move over. But I definitely, I don't look at people who are driving. I just don't want to see what they're, I'm not keeping track of who's driving or what they're looking at, if they're paying attention or if they're not paying attention. I'd rather if people just pay me no attention. I don't want to be looked at. And I see vehicles as moving objects that are hazardous to my health, and I just pay attention to their speed and their direction, and if they're giving any indication of changing that direction. But I don't really consider that there's a person driving them. I just see them as moving objects, obstacles that I need to avoid, but also be aware of. And I avoid them. And situations of traffic, I just try to also, again, I make detours to avoid those situations where I would ever have to come to a complete stop. I will just change my direction so I give traffic time to move, or I'll take a different path. And and also, I when I was younger, I did listen to music. Um, I had a Walkman with that had a cassette deck, and I had mixtapes that I would record, and I think they were always mixtapes. I very rarely had bought much music. I had a CD collection I could record um, onto cassette tapes, different mixes from the CDs, and then I would just have my headphones on, and I would be running on like the around my neighborhood or on the C&O Canal, sort of thing, and then I would just give little hand signs to most people as they pass by either way, or little call outs, like on your left or on your right if approaching from behind. And that's usually good enough for most people. And I try to remember that these days, that, just giving a hand sign. And if that's not good enough for them, then that's on them. But I just can't be bothered to make verbal greetings and good mornings and nice day for a run, or, something like that. But just a hand sign, that's greeting enough. And but music, I haven't listened to music while running since I've begun again, because running around here, it's like I need to be aware of traffic and other people, because I just need all my senses working for me. And I don't really get bored while running. I've got my internal monologue to keep me company, and I'm always just kind of focused on the path ahead of me, and I do find myself getting into that trance and focusing on my breathing and things like that. And I don't carry anything on me as far as I don't carry anything on me. I have my watch, just a stopwatch, but I don't carry keys. I don't carry identification. I don't carry any sort of technology, except for the watch to keep track of time, and that's it. And so if anything ever happened to me out there, or I got into an accident, well, I'm just kind of in trouble. So that's, again, one of the reasons I don't listen to music. I need to, be ready for whatever happens. And I try to make sure that that doesn't happen, so I don't have to worry about it. And for now, that's okay. But yeah, anxiety. I would say that's an ongoing thing. And for me, it's like sometimes I'm in an okay mood, and I don't mind seeing as many people out there and knowing that they can see me, and feeling self-conscious. But there are some days it's like it can just throw me off, and because I just want to be by myself. I want to run, and I want to be out there. I want to be outside, but I don't want to be seen. I don't want to feel like I'm obligated to those sorts of interactions where I don't know. I haven't ever found a solution for it. It's like there's no solution for not being myself. It's like I just am how I am, and I have good days, I have bad days, I have good runs, I have bad runs. But it doesn't stop me. I continue to find those little places in time where I can exist outside in public view and get done what I feel like I want to get done, and then get back and be okay. It's still worth doing. So anyway, amazingly, that's already half an hour of just me just talking. So I'm going to stop it there.